I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time.
Hey, Carolyn Phillips Grogan. Hey, Monique.
Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this hollering we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it?
Hey, El Michelle.
What time is it?
What's up, BG?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, this game is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It's Winning Wednesday, and we are definitely going to do our show today, but I am, my heart a little heavy, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. We now have yet another black person of color, who has been found hanging, and the hanging is reportedly a suicide. That's the second in as many days here in Houston. It is also I think we're on number 5 now across the country in the last week to 2 weeks. So that is alarming. That is absolutely alarming, and it is something that, I'm not going to address it on the show, but I want to send out the alert for you to be cautious, be careful, be aware of what's going on around you. If this is mental health related, if you are having mental health issues, please get the help that you need as soon and as quickly as possible. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I do have guests that are joining me. Kelsey Nicole Nelson is the first to come in. Hey, Kelsey, Grubb should be right. There he is. Hang on, David. I'm trying to get you. It says device does not connect it. Oh, device not connected. I should learn how to read, huh? Oh, man. So,
I finally beat David.
Kelsey, I appreciate you coming on short notice. I sent out the request for you to join us midnight last night or something crazy.
Yeah. But I came through for you.
I know. I appreciate that, Kelsey. I really appreciate that. And I don't take that lightly. So, David, is that you? Are you on there too?
Aww.
Yeah, we got you on the phone, but I got to get you on the. We want
to see you.
Yeah, we got to see you.
I don't see him either. That's so crazy.
No, it ain't letting me do it. It ain't. All right, David. I'm gonna put you on hold because they can't hear you. They can't hear David without me having my headset off and having it by the monitor. So, Kelsey, we're gonna hold it down until he pops on. How things going with you, Kelsey? What's going on out there in the DMV?
Oh my gosh, what's not going on in sports? It's crazy, but DMV, it's good. It's good. We're excited. Of course, WNBA is coming back, so our Washington Mystics, we're getting ready to watch them. And NBA, only time will tell. Only time will tell. But we're going to continue to follow that situation. Then, of course, before you know it, we'll be preparing for football and talking football. So it's crazy busy, but good.
Are you feeling like I'm feeling that baseball is in trouble? I mean, football is going to do what they're going to do. I don't care what nobody says. Come first week in September, they're going to be in those stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
And people will be in those stadiums with them. Basketball, okay. Kyrie, we'll talk about him in a little bit. But I feel like they're going to play something on July 30th. But baseball, what in the world?
Yeah, notice I didn't mention baseball because it's messy. It's messy. Who knows? And honestly, it's crazy, but we might not have it. And it's crazy to think about. But I hope they're able to mend fences and sides. Do it for the fans. Do it for the people that love the game. But right now, nobody wants to negotiate. It's either my way or the highway. So we'll see. But I don't know. I truly do not know.
Yeah, those negotiations are about as slimy and as dirty as they can get. And Rob Manfred is right in the middle of them. I mean, how do the owners make no less than 3 offers and every single one of them average out to the exact same percentage of what they want to pay and what they don't want to pay?
It's crazy. That's the thing. Like you said, to have Rob right in the middle, it's messy. You have players going on social media doing memes. You have all these interviews. Like, it's kind of like that messy divorce situation that everybody didn't need to know about, that everybody knows about. People know your business that don't need to know it. We're seeing it play out in front of us, and it's just unfortunate because fans are saying, we just want y'all to play. We want y'all back. I see what the players are saying. They want their fair share, their fair standard, as we all do. When you do a job and you do a job well, you want to make sure you get paid for that. But I do think we all just have to be cognizant of the times that we're living in. This is the first time we're all going through anything like this. We're all figuring it out together, right? I mean, there's no for sure right way, but
right.
We have to figure something out, right? Like, somebody's going to have to compromise. Something's going to have to give. It's just going to have to get to that point.
I went through the grocery store the other day and I said, I'm going to use the Major League Baseball method of negotiating. After they rung everything up, said, Mr. Jones, your price is da-da-da-da-da. I said, I tell you what, I want to defer 75% of those payments until the next time I come in. And when I tell you I got the blankest stand. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's DG. DG, call me on the phone line too, bro.
I thought I was still on the phone.
He's like, he's talking and I can't hear him.
I can't hear him either. He's gone again. It's like a magic trick.
Yeah, but he looked good though.
He did. Good. That's what counts. That's what matters.
And then he gone, just like that.
Oh, he'll come back.
And then he's gone.
Technology, right? This is the age of technology.
I know. David, why for Jesus? Why for? I know.
Oh,
I know. David, we got to have you, man. It's so important today. We got to, if you don't come through, I can't do the show.
You're going to mess it up for all of us, David. Stop.
David, you have no idea how I laid it on thick to Kelsey on social media. I was like, man, me and David, we have such great chemistry.
Yes.
And it would be so great if you come back on and you know what? She fell for it. She's here.
I did.
And now you messed up, bro.
Oh, man.
And I'm every button I hit. Here are my choices. I can edit your name, I can kick you off, or I can ban you forever. And I don't want to do either one of those. Yeah, forever.
Forever.
Yeah, that's.
We need you, David.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, what I wanted to bring David and Kelsey on, and we'll push it back until we get David on.
Okay.
As we said, basketball kind of ran into a division of power. LeBron James and several of the power brokers got on one call and said, yo, let's play. And then Kyrie Irving got on his own call with over 100 NBA and WNBA players. And I understand not all of them were there to agree with Kyrie, but they all listened.
Right.
And Kyrie was like, yo, we shall overcome someday if we start our own league and we don't show up to Orlando. And man. So I want to kind of talk about that. I want to talk about what it says, what it signals, and was Kyrie way off. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. Hopefully we'll have David all figured out. We got Kelsey Nicole Nelson joining us, and it's Winning Wednesday here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message.
Hey, David.
The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program fix your problem right now before it gets any
Kelsey,
worse.
man. She got
Get
that
clean.
professional
Call
view and
now
everything
and
like that. She probably got
learn
a
more.
Kelsey.
Sweaty because I'm out up in this building. Air conditioning is acting.
800-961-2730.
Yeah,
Let me dry my face. Now I look like I just came out the field.
2730. That's 800-961-2730.
That bald head, man, it
Hey, sports
glistens
fans, this is
in the
AJ
sun.
Jones, and I know we're all going through some trying times right now. Schools are closed, and things are far from normal. I was thinking, how can we help here on KYOK and on the lunch break? And I heard these words: help make memories. So how about this? How about your child, age 12 and up, has a chance to be my co-host for the day? That's right, 30 minutes every Tuesday right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Your child can invite their friends, their family, and even their classmates to hear them talk sports with me, AJ Jones, on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. Send me an email message at aj@kyoksports.com. That's aj@kyoksports.com with your child's name and why they should be the one to be my co-host for the day. Again, we're going to make memories during this tough times right here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
I'm Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Winning Wednesday, and I've got two of the best in the business joining me. We've got Kelsey Nelson joining us from Listen In with KNN, and finally, we got him in, y'all. We got David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint. David, what's up, bro?
Oh, another busy morning. Do 2 hours, then come on and do 2 more with you.
Hey, man, I got to send you some golf clubs or something, man. Kelsey, what do you want for making time for us here on the lunch break?
Oh, man. How much time we got? I'm just kidding.
Like, we giving out gifts. You didn't tell me we could ask. You let her ask. You told me what I could.
Yeah, you getting the big Bertha, bro. And Kelsey, I don't know. I'm afraid to even ask.
No, just being with you guys. This is fun. This is why I did it for you. So this is all I need. Just good laughs and good conversation. I
mean it. I appreciate you. And, folks really look forward to whenever I post that you two are coming on, it gets lit up. They really get excited about it. So my nephew tuned in. He's a football coach up in northern Kentucky and in Ohio. And he was saying that the report of Kyrie wanting to start his own league was proven to be false, and that's fine, no problem. The theory, though, the thought, we've said time and time again in different times throughout sports that what if players got together and decided to do their own thing? And with all the changes that are going on in various communities all around the world right now, would this be a feasible time to look at something like that so that there is some measure of control for players, their safety, their causes, their incomes? I know it sounds out of the box, but Kelsey, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was just watching yesterday on ESPN, the Wyoming Black 14, and I just think about just so many different things of just if players could really get together and just unify. And again, I think we're living in this age that's exciting because players are getting woke. They're opening their eyes and they're seeing there's power and there's purpose, and that they can dictate truly their own lives. You are more than just a basketball player, right? That's just one aspect of it. But I'm liking the coming together of it. But then, of course, not everyone's going to agree with you. But also, I'm liking Kyrie finding his voice. I mean, I think we all know Kyrie, the great basketball player. We all know he has some unique views on if the world is flatter or not. But all that aside, right, he's as a Black man, he's standing up at a time when we need it more than ever. Think about the young kids that are looking up to him saying, I want to be like Kyrie Irving, not just because he's a great basketball player, but because he's standing up for what he believes in and he's fighting for it. I mean, if you see, he's called Steven Jackson crying. This is weighing heavy on him. Like, he knows he's a Black man in America. We have problems in America for people that look like me and you all. So I think the unity factor is huge. It's great. We're seeing the family struggles play out live right in front of us because not everybody agrees with Kyrie. But I think it's needed. It's needed. I think for far too long, the NBA and also other sports leagues, I think players just haven't realized, what they can do. We saw at first the unification with Colin Kaepernick. And then each week we kind of saw that dwindle and dwindle. And now no more Colin Kaepernick and the NFL. But just if you see players now, like, man, if we had only stood with Colin Kaepernick, I had Craig Hodges on my show. Man, if they had stood with Craig Hodges back then, right? You just think about that unity factor. It's strong. You're always stronger together. Us three are stronger together if we make a call or proposal than just one of us. So I think it needs to happen, but it's okay to disagree. I don't agree with all my family. I'm sure you guys don't all agree with your family. But if we have a common goal and purpose, then I'm for it. Let's work it out. Let's hash it out and find the best way forward.
Absolutely. Two people from the same womb don't always agree. David, your thoughts?
Larry Johnson had broached this idea too a few years ago,
right?
Former Knicks and Hornets star. So I firmly think that if the structure that you're in is not working for you, you have to have discussions about what kind of structure is. I think Avery Bradley took step one by saying, okay, owners, here are things you're going to have to give us if you're going to ask us to come back, if you're going to ask us to live in this new world. We're not coming back under the same conditions. That's step one. But I think ultimately what you're going to figure is as long as the ownership, the numbers don't change, as long as you don't see representative leadership based on who your workforce is made up of, ultimately you're going to be frustrated within that system. So the conversation, absolutely, like Kelsey is saying, is you have to have the conversation. You have to talk about what kind of structure. And that doesn't mean, I think, a lot of people take it and say, well, now you want to exclude white people. No, that ain't it at all. What you're trying to do is create a business model that works better for you, that is less exploitative towards the athlete, that treats the athlete as not just an employee, because you can't just be an employee. You are not just an employee. I can't replace you. You are the top 1% of the top 1% of all the people in the world who do what you do. There are literally hundreds of millions of people playing basketball around the world for recreation or seriously, and 400 and something of them are playing professionally in the NBA.
Right.
So in that regard, you are not like other talent in that you can be replaced. As good as the three of us all think we are, we can be taken out. There's somebody right now ready to take our spots. Already. So we can be replaced.
Yeah.
You can't replace LeBron James.
Right.
You can't replace Anthony Davis. You can't replace Kawhi Leonard. Those people have a bigger value than what they're paid on their checks because they are the league. You can't sell me the team name and just put that logo out there if I don't know who's on that team. We don't show up for things that don't matter, for teams that we don't care about. That's why the XFL died. So you have this opportunity for players to say, if we can't find this structure that treats us, and look, the last three negotiations, the players went from 57% of revenue to 55% of revenue down to 50% of revenue. And I guarantee you, whether the players had canceled this season or not, the NBA was going to reopen that collective bargaining agreement in the fall or in the summer when that deadline was originally.
Anyway,
so if you're the players, you need to, because you need whatever leverage you can get. And the most important leverage a player always has is their ability. If I can take that away from you and there's a viable option for me somewhere else, I'll go look at it. Because if an ABA started now, the media landscape is completely different. Before, remember, the ABA died because it couldn't get on TV.
Right.
It couldn't get on TV.
Right.
If the big name players from the NBA, if enough of them said, we're going to go over and do this thing, put together a 10 to 12 team league, whatever, and we control this, and we've got our business partners that work with us in a cooperative manner, man, it changes the whole game, because there's so much live streaming you could do. They could deal with, they could create their own network, put it up on Roku service. They could put it on the streaming service. They could have their app. They could sell all those things tomorrow. If you had a significant number of really talented players who said we could do this on our own.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that's blowing me away. We got Kelsey Nelson from Listen In with KNN. We got David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, joining me here on Winning Wednesday on the lunch break. Why is it so wrong for players to think about ownership or their own league? Isn't that what this society supposedly is built on? Isn't capitalism the way of the world? If you can do it, I can do it too. Doesn't mean I'm trying to do it better than you. I'm just trying to get a piece of the pie. Why is that looked upon so angrily when it's players in these professional sports leagues? Kelsey?
That's a great question. I think it goes back to, honestly, the education system. When you look like, again, the people on this screen, we're not taught about ownership because usually we don't know ownership. Is it our fault? No. I mean, you can look at this history and how it's set up. None of us got the 40 acres and a mule, but it just goes back to overall just most of us aren't handed down things. Now you see people, that's why we constantly say support Black business, because we don't have as much of it. The odds are stacked against us. If you know about business, it's a lot harder for you to get a loan to start a business if you're Black, simply because of things you can't control. So I think what they're doing, you're right, capitalism is taught, but capitalism hasn't always included people with a lot of melanin in their skin. And now you have these players that are in that top percent, as you all are saying, and they have the opportunity to do that. Think about it. I mean, you look at somebody like Master P, you look at Ice Cube, you look at what they were able to do, right, through their leagues that they had, especially Ice Cube. I mean, Ice Cube is truly a Black man who has defied all the odds to get to where he is. I mean, you can't give him just one title because he's done it all. I mean, he's truly done it all. And whether you agree or disagree with his recent comments, Ice Cube has made sure that Black business and others like him, he wants to make sure everybody eats. And again, people, it's hard to think about something that hasn't been done because most of your favorite sports leagues, look at how many African Americans are in positions of power. Now we're saying, look, we're more than just the athletes here. We can help to dictate who else works with us, right? Because if I'm a star basketball player, like David said, you can't replace LeBron James. If LeBron James asks for something, he's a king. You got to give it to him. If LeBron James says, hey, look, wait, we need some more Black coaches. Why is the league mostly African-American, but our coaches, don't look like me? There's going to be a change. There's going
Kelsey
to be a
and
change.
David, y'all hold that thought right there. I want to come back to that. We got to take a quick break. It's on fire on here on the lunch break. The show is on fire. We don't need no water. I'll be right back right after this on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hi, this is Sonia from Southeast Houston, and you're listening to The Lunch Break on 92.3 and KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and I'm getting a whole lot of flack. That's okay. That's okay. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Will you be my neighbor? So, you know, again, the Black Panther Sports Talk Show is riding again. I am the new Malcolm X of sports talk. I love it. And I wonder if they love it when I send them back hearts and kisses, because that's what I do now. I send them back the heart eyes. I send them back the kissing hearts. So I think
if they're giving you the Malcolm X title, ooh, I don't know what they're going to put on me, man.
Bro.
You the Malcolm X?
What? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out.
Elijah Muhammad. I don't know who I am. I guess
one of us is Martin, the other one's Malcolm. Kelsey, who are you?
Oh man, I'll be correct, I guess.
That's okay. It's our show, and we're gonna get it in. Let me ask you a question, because we keep saying that you cannot replace the stars. Mm-hmm. Pop quiz: who replaced Michael Jordan when he retired? Go, Kelsey.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm trying to think.
David, go.
Kobe.
No, I'm talking about in the starting lineup.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like in terms of his power, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You meant?
Number 20, Pete Myers.
Pete Myers.
Yeah, you ain't gonna
now, Pete might have walked into his spot in the starting lineup, but did Pete walk into his spot as the face of the league? Was he able to, use leverage to get the players what they wanted? No, not at all. And you might be able to replace a guy in the lineup, but you can't replace the LeBrons, the Kobes, the Michaels, the Shaqs. I can go on and on and on, And to this day, I mean, and I don't always agree with everything he says. Guess who is still, heavily revered? Who's still heavily revered? Jim Brown, of all people. Mm-hmm. So why people think it's a bad thing for sometimes the employees to dream about ownership. And if they can't own it the way that they want in the spaces that are available now, what's wrong with them starting their own? I don't understand that, because like you said, it's not all black. Trust me, there'll be a whole lot of folks that'll be trying to get, that money and that liberty and that newness, that freshness. I mean, it just happens. David, I'm listening.
It's two things. And in America, we're conditioned to believe two things. A, the athletes come through most of their stuff through natural gifts. That it's not an intellectual thing to become a professional athlete. It is a physical thing. Mm-hmm. As evidenced by comments that Bill Simmons made on this podcast. It was 3 white men on a podcast, and they said, what would you rather have, an NBA player running your team or an actual smart person? That stuff is heavily, that's heavy code.
Does he still have a podcast? Is this still
he still got Bill Simmons, one of the most powerful people, in all of sports. So he's not going anywhere. But that's the perception. So if the perception from your audience is you are just a player, that's all we will see you as, then it's even harder to make the jump to accepting them as owners. Look at Michael Jordan is only accepted as a black owner because he's Michael Jordan.
Right.
When Bob Johnson bought the Bobcats, he was treated as a joke. Now, eventually proved himself that way because he was cheap as I don't know what. But I'm just saying,
frugal, David. Frugal.
From the day he walked in, he was treated differently. Michael Jordan, they can't push him around. His standing is bigger, even if he doesn't have the pockets that some of them have. His standing in a global marketplace is bigger than any of these people. So the general perception is, if you're black, you are a player, you are talent, you are used as labor. But management is not something for you. And I think the average fan, who tends to be the majority of those fans, are white men, and those white men, when they envision people in those roles, they don't see black men. So they relate to owners, even though they will never be billionaires, more so than they relate to the person who worked from the bottom up to get to maximize their skills, make themselves individually marketable that someone would pay them for those skills, and then try to ascend within that framework from employee to management to ownership. That's what you always tell us the American dream is.
Right.
But you don't want it for this group of people, that for them the road has to be wider, curvier, with bridges out and all these things that you got to get to. And then when you get there, they say, well, you see, it must have been for some other reason. So it's these very psychological things that run through America and that are perpetuated by the people who are in the viewing public.
Brother, yeah, you definitely Malcolm. Kelsey.
Wait, I gotta be mad at CJ Walker then or something, because y'all just coming with the heavy hitters.
There you go.
Angela Davis. Except with
everything I know. Everything David said is right. And I think about it, when I talk to young kids, and I'm sure you guys do the same, think about it. When you go into speak to a school, no young kid ever says, hey, Kelsey, hey, David, hey, AJ, I want to be a basketball owner. They're not taught that. We're taught you have to be the LeBrons, you have to be the Kobes. We're constantly taught from a young age, this is your role. It even goes back to positions, right? Usually black players on the football field, more than likely they're geared towards going to the defensive end of the ball, right? Or if they're on the offensive side, we see what Lamar Jackson had to go through. I mean, There's just many just different things. I mean, I just talked to Warren Moon. You see what he had to go through.
Right.
But saying all this to say, right now is the time in history where we have the time to change the narrative. It's important to see that we can do those things, because not only can we play on the field, and guess what? You're going to get older. You're going to have the expiration date. The next best thing, if you want to stay by sports, if you have that power, that superstar power, you talked about MJ, he was able to transfer over. LeBron has the ability to do that, right? I mean, Kobe, rest his soul, but I mean, Kobe was somebody that was just powerful beyond all measures. Remember when Kobe had that Oscar win, right?
Right.
What did that mean? No, he's a basketball player. He's a black man. We're not used to seeing that. But that's why it's important too. You talk about media. This is why diversity in media is so important, because you need those viewpoints. You need those people that have come from similar backgrounds that can explain things from a different side. David said a good point. We're always judged. Black athletes are always judged on their physical appearance. Black women were always sexualized, right? She's not. I mean, look at somebody like a Brittany Griner versus Skylar Diggins. You see the two very different comparisons that they get. And then black athletes, they're bigger, they're stronger. Lamar Jackson, he's always described as, he's athletic. He's athletic. He can do all these things that we've never seen before. Immediately, you're put into these things from a young age, and that kind of carries with you. But now, again, and we as media, I empower all of us. We have an opportunity to change the narrative. We need to make sure we start talking about these black athletes in positions of power, not as a joke. Why is it a joke? I mean, some of us are joking, like, like, why would they even want ownership? Because they're more than just basketball players. They truly are more than just athletes. They are black men in America, not just black men. I mean, I want everybody. The NBA, I think, is so powerful because it's global. Right. It's global. Right? It's like soccer. Soccer is obviously a sport that most people can play, because soccer is the cheapest sport to play. You literally just need a ball, right? This is why soccer is a global sport. It's kind of the global language of love. But here, the NBA, we see what they're doing. We see NBA Africa, what that's going to do when it really, really gets off the ground and picked up. And you see just the NBA expanding. It connects us. Look how big the NBA is in a place like China, right? And you see how big players get over there. You see how big it's getting in Europe. I mean, the NBA has a chance to get it right. They have a chance to get it right. But again, I would empower us all to really see that what's happening now is something to keep an eye on, because I think there's a reason why more players are opening charter schools right now. They're trying to build their legacy. They're putting in their roots. All right. And we know what the education system is. A charter school is a school that you have an opportunity, a public school that you have an opportunity to make your own, to give a child an education that maybe you didn't have, because you know what the education system got wrong for you. So again, I think it's just a time of empowerment. I'm glad to be in the media right now. I wouldn't choose any other position right now, because again, we're covering stuff that we'll be talking about for generations to come. But now is the time to plant the seeds.
Steven Spielberg got mad because a Netflix original won an award that he felt like should never have been won outside of the big production houses. And if Netflix can do that, why can't a league started by anybody in the NBA right now? Why can it not be as viable and as entertaining, maybe in a different way? Maybe it's not on ABC, maybe it's not on TNT, but that does not mean there are not millions of eyes that can't get it in their own way. I mean, look at what we said earlier. Ice Cube has done with the big three. And it's entertaining basketball. I mean, they were about to go global, except for a global pandemic. So, I don't want to trash Kyrie, whether it was false or true or not. I love Kyrie's way of thinking, even when I don't agree with it, because the young man is passionate about it. He backs his own stuff up. He literally makes you think if what you know is what you know. So, what I don't want to do is to have these young people miss the opportunity that's at hand. More can get done right now than possibly ever before. And I'd like to see them take advantage of it. I'd like to see us take advantage of it.
The money's there. That's the whole thing is what a lot of owners became in professional sports. For most of the sports history, it had been family-owned businesses, like the Rooneys, like the Maras, like the Wilpons in base. There have been families, the Steinbrenners. You pass things down from family to family. The Lakers are the last one in the NBA that is a family business, so to speak. They're the last ones. When you have this shift to billionaires, they view this as a different thing. The people who got into the league as family businesses in any of these leagues, they did it because they loved that sport. They weren't, when you got in on the ground floor of the NFL, it wasn't, you knew it wasn't going to be a bunch of money when Lamar Hunt bought his piece of the Dallas Texans. You know what I mean? So now you have these billionaires who look at these as jewels, as ornaments to their portfolios. I am extremely wealthy and I also own a sports team. That puts me in a different club. Because now there are plenty of rich people by their count. Let's just say by their count, but there are very few. The ownership club is a very limited club, so that stature means something. When you change that, if you have other investors out there who don't have to have 10, 15, 20 billion dollars to do ownership of a team, if you don't have to do that, and you don't in this new economy, because the eyes will follow the players. Like you said, there are enough networks out there right now that don't have sports that they will pay for the best talent. And if the NBA players were to break off just like before, if Dr. J today, if he had been in the ABA, that's the number one player in the world. The money would have found Dr. J. Yeah. That's just the fact of the matter. So if LeBron James, if whomever, if 10, 20 of those guys started it, you could even start it by, you say, okay, we're going to keep taking the college kids. Now they're not going to the NBA. They're coming to our league instead because this, that, and the third of the way we set it up. So there are ways to go about this and create a sustainable business model. And you also can, with the way I think the media is going to be broken up even more, with more people who are stringers, freelancers, and not having to have this centralized coverage, you can be regional in your approach to your league as it grows. Because the transmission of that can be anywhere. But if you say we're going to have our people in maybe 4 cities, but have multiple teams in those cities to minimize costs, you can do that now in this world because travel is so small. Doesn't matter what the venue is. As long as the games are good and competitive, people will watch.
Kelsey, I'm not trying to start this right now on the backs of you, me, and David, but to me, this was just like a no-brainer. This was like, why hadn't this gotten more traction before? And again, now being the time. Got to take this quick break. When we come back, think about, maybe 3 or 4 things that have to happen and 3 or 4 people or players that would need to be involved. David, do the same thing. We'll do that. We're having open discussion right here on the lunch break, Winning Wednesday on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. If you want to get in, you're welcome to do that. 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Or you can text me like all my favorite fans are doing. AJ, you're dumb as they get. Thank you. 281-453-1000 or text me 832-403-5005. What's a race baiter? I didn't know what that was. I'll be right back.
I don't know, debating.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
Hey, this is Tori and Terry, and we're with a new show on the legendary KYOK called Marriage with Tori and Terry.
Yes, that's Saturdays at 1 p.m. Marriage Talk with us. You can call in and talk with us about your marriage questions, engagement, relationship questions. We're here to assist you. Saturdays at 1 p.m.
And that's on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Talk to you then.
Hi, this is TJ from South Park. I listen to the lunch break with AJ Jones on 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, we're back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. AJ Jones, Kelsey, Nicole Nelson from Listen In with KNN. David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint. Just saw a story that said Anthony Lynn says that Colin Kaepernick is on the Chargers workout list. What'd that mean? What does that mean?
What is meant for forever? We still don't know. We still don't know. There's still a million questions around it. And I saw that report, and then if you keep looking, it's a lot of confusion. It's a ball of confusion.
Is that like a playlist for when you go and work out? David, help me. What is that?
They haven't had anybody, and they can't have anybody in the facilities yet to try people out. So that is part of it, certainly. So
when we open the doors, we're going to bring Colin in.
Colin?
I mean, at least with Anthony Lynn, who has said, and has been open that Anthony Lynn has been very open about the league has to do better, that the words aren't enough. Okay. And as one of the very few African-American coaches you have in the league, I think his words are more likely to be trusted than what I heard out of Pete Carroll a few days ago. Because when in talking about his reference from last year, it's like we looked at Colin and he was too good for us, and we knew he was going to get picked up. I don't believe that for a moment. That doesn't sound real. Who says my backup is too good?
Yeah,
look at the Saints. I mean, he played the Saints literally last season and saw the backup quarterback beat him and win 5 games for the Saints. So who in the NFL today thinks my backup quarterback is too good?
Too good. Come on, you too good. David, that's that breakup, baby girl. It's not you, it's me. Translation: it's definitely you.
You're just too good
for me. I can't handle all you bring it to the table. You got too much.
I have to use that.
Kelsey, don't listen to me.
I'm just kidding.
So we're talking before the break with this powerhouse panel. We were talking before the break about whether the story is true or not about Kyrie Irving suggesting that the players start their own league, the feasibility of it, the thoughts of it, the timing of it, all of that. And why is it a bad thing? Whether he said it or not, why is it a bad thing for the players not to be thinking about ownership and running their own league? If they can't, get what they want out of one, why does it have to be an all or nothing proposition? And my question before the break was, what are 2 or 3 things that you feel like need to happen for something like that to happen? And who are the key players that you feel like need to be involved for it to be successful? Kelsey, you go first.
All right. So we're talking for the players to start their own league.
Yes.
All right. So obviously it needs to be an idea, needs to become a concept. All right. An idea is great. We all have ideas, but I need to see the concept. You have to plan it out, right, for it to actually happen. Next, you need to know who's going to be involved. That's very, very important. You want to have the right people involved. You see with bad business partners, I'll just bring up the LeVar Ball example and what happened kind of with the big baller brand. If your business partner is kind of shady, things can go down and things can go wrong. And I think third, obviously, the biggest thing is we know what makes successful, what makes sports successful. We've talked about it here. Where's it going to be? Where's it going to be? And, can I slash that? Because I know you said 3 things. Slash, you need superstar players. We follow superstars. So, where's it going to be? And then superstars, right? Because people need name recognition. I'm not going to go watch Joe Schmo, but if it's somebody I know, somebody that I can Google and look up and see their stuff, I'm going to follow them. And I think the second part of that question was who needs to be involved. You have to look at your superstar players. The NBA has players. The NBA has stars. The NBA has superstars, right? I like to put them in those 3 buckets. Your superstar players are the ones that even your non-sports fans can recognize and know. They need to be involved in this decision-making process because other players will follow them. Yes, you have leaders in the NBA and you have followers. It's not a bad thing, but if you have leaders that go to something, then others will follow. I too will lead my sheep, all right? So that's, I think, the important part. I think you look at your LeBrons, it looks like a LeBron might not be as involved. Kyrie's a big enough name, obviously. I'd love to see. I think KD is somebody that has power. I think Anthony Davis's name has been thrown in here a lot because we've really seen him grow. You look at somebody like a James Harden. There's lots of superstars, but I'd say you at least need at least three superstars calling and saying, "Hey, this is what we're going to do." I really want people to realize, again, we follow talent. That's why there's this big push to get superstar talent to HBCUs. The point being that, hey, if we are able to get these stars, you will go watch these HBCUs. The media will follow and go watch these HBCUs. That's why here in DC, when Kayla Newton made the decision to leave Howard University, it was a big deal. It was a big deal because it's the most people had ever seen at Howard football games. All right, I digress, David. I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, no, to that point, though, when Steve McNair was playing at Alcorn State, they would cut away from other stuff to show when Steve McNair had the ball. So you're absolutely right about it. Yeah,
that was the only time I had seen an HBCU until Winston-Salem State made it as far as they did in the FCS playoffs. Steve McNair was the only other time I'd ever seen an HBCU playoff game in the FCS level. I'd never seen an HBCU team play at that level because Steve McNair, like you said, that power of personality. And just his talent. It was undeniable. That's why you finish top 5 in the Heisman voting. But for a league, it starts with the business plan because you can't do it in a year. So my first thing is, who are my financial backers? Those are the people that I need to understand. And what is it that they're asking in return? Because if you're trying to build something that's better than what it is, you want leadership that represents the players, that represents the financial interests who are backing you. Because I think what you want is not an owner-player model. You are looking for something that is much more cooperative as a business. We're all invested in this together. There is management. You know what I'm saying? There has to be management. There have to be coaches. There have to be general managers. There have to be talent acquisition people. You have to have business people. But at the top of that group is still a number of representatives of players, a number of representatives of those business people, and then those independent minds who don't represent either faction of that sitting in between there, just like any other business's board. where you have enough people who to take on all those parts. So you'd want to set that up first. And like you said, locations are extremely important because you need access to media readily, and that talent availability. You need to be able to have that quickly. The facilities that you're going to need, because the advantage there too is most of these are public facilities. Right. So the states don't care as long as somebody's willing to pay for the venue for that.
Rent it out, Bob. Rent it out.
And there are multiple venues in most of your major cities. Mm-hmm. If I can't play at the biggest arena, then I can go to the local university and I can get their 12 to 15,000 seat arena and knock it out over there. Yep. So the options are there on that side. If you couldn't get the biggest players, then my idea would be target the 23s and unders, because they have not made their big money. They've only gotten their rookie deals. Yeah. So you go after those guys and you say, the NBA ain't giving you nothing anyway. You got $1 million, $2 million contract for next year. Come on over here. We can get you that $2 million, but we're not going to hold. We're going to have open free agency. You get rid of restricted free agency things. You say there's not going to be a cap because your salary is based on the overall money that we make as a group. You can change all those business practices and make people feel like this is a much more comfortable situation. You change the time of year for the season so you're not directly competing with the NBA. You create and brand your own product. It can be successful. It can be done. Otherwise, the G League wouldn't have stolen ideas that LeVar Ball had, but just his business, like I said, the business model didn't work like the Professional Collegiate League has right now. And you try to consolidate those because they know what's coming. There will be more challenges. So the players need to get at the forefront of that. They have connections to the business world, both in the black side and in mainstream. So they have that. We can't keep saying Oprah every time we talk about money. Right. But it's going to take some black millionaires to come in and invest in this as well, from all different angles, because there is the talent there. It's already out there. It's just nobody's ever contracted with black businesses to work with professional leagues.
If I can just add one thing really quick, I'm sorry. But something David said just resonated. And I think it's one of the best interviews I saw with Shaquille O'Neal. He said, he got tired of being in boardrooms and everybody talking about him and his business assets and no one asking him his input. That's why he went and got that degree. And now he's able to make his own decisions. Because think about it. A lot of times players, when they're being represented by people, it's other people making all the decisions and they're just sitting there. And they're the talent. They're the reason why those people are getting paid and in that room. It's about time you wake up and see, hey, this is why I'm so hands-on with all that I do. Yes, I'll accept help, but this is me. This is my name on this. This is what I've worked to do. I'm going to have a say-so in decisions that are being made. And it's so important. And I really hope every player realizes that. Get educated on your business matters, because again, I've done that broke athlete, the athlete that made the wrong business decision way too many times because they simply didn't ask questions and didn't know what was going on. You cannot trust other people to make all the right decisions for you, because I'm sorry to say, but it's a me versus you world. Most people are going to look out for themselves.
Yeah, I like that you added that in, because think about that. I'm the reason why everybody's in this room. And I'm the last person that anybody's talking to. Everybody's talking about me like I'm not in this room. That's the craziest thing in the world. But that's the model of the professional athlete typically in our society today. And when they speak up, like Kyrie Irving either did or didn't, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Now he's a rogue. He's a problem. Instead of him being a businessman or an entrepreneur or someone with an investment spirit. It's like when Phil Jackson called Maverick Reigns and all those guys LeBron's posse, instead of him calling them LeBron's business partners. And that's exactly who they are. So, I got to get Sybil Wilkes in here, but I'm even thinking about this even more when we look at the things that we have available now that might not have been available back then, or that might have been called something else. When you look at crowdfunding, now you got a whole lot of other investors who would love to see something different than the only choice that they have now. And guess what? A whole bunch of $250 investments can add up to a couple of $1 million investments over time. Let me get Sybil in here. We'll come back. We'll finish the discussion. I've got Kelsey Nicole Nelson. I say her whole name because it's Listen In with KNN and David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint. We're tearing it up right here on the lunch break. If you want to get in with your thoughts other than the racial stuff that y'all keep sending through, 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Or text me 832-453-1000. 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. It's the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Civil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. Hilton Worldwide announced it is cutting 2,100 corporate employees as the hospitality company deals with unprecedented challenges for the travel and tourism industry. The company also said it is extending previously announced furloughs, reduced hours, and corporate pay cuts. According to a new study, people under the age of 20 are estimated to be about half as susceptible to the COVID-19 infection as those aged 20 or over. Researchers estimate that clinical symptoms manifest in about 21% of the 10 to 19-year-olds. Dr. Anthony Fauci said when it comes to protests during a pandemic, the best advice is to wear a mask consistently. Fauci said when protesters and others at risk of contracting COVID-19. More than one quarter of the world's reported coronavirus cases, or about 2.1 million, are in this country. That's right, the United States. At least 116,000 people have died. Visit civilwilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered. Now, back to the lunch break.
Fred Smoot.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Kelsey, Nelson, Dwayne Haskins says he wants to be the face of the franchise, and he says, I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver. Is that really what he wants? Or is he better be careful what he asks for?
I don't care what he wants. He's in D.C. We expect him to deliver. Look, I'm born and bred here, all right? I can tell you, when we talk about the Washington Redskins, we expect you to deliver. He's living in the shadows of some great black quarterbacks before him. Again, this is a team. You think about what Doug Williams did for the franchise. Mm-hmm. You think about what RG3 was before that knee injury, right? I'm not going to go back to that. Right. We love our quarterbacks. We need good quarterbacks. DC is a football town. The quarterback is the most important position. So he has to deliver, because otherwise I think he knows he might not be a long time in DC. So I think we're giving him time. We're giving him chances. Obviously, he has his ties to the area, but you have to deliver in Washington again. No one wants to go to a Washington Redskins game where there's more opposing fans, where there's $4 StubHub tickets. Enough is enough. All right. Enough is enough. So he's going to have to. So I'm glad he's saying that. We like confidence, but when it comes to football season, he's going to have to prove it.
All right.
Can we just remind her? Can we just remind her?
Don't do it yet, David. Let me hit the top of the hour.
Wait. Let me hear it.
David got some advice for you. Hold on, Kelsey. Kelsey, hold on.
1140 KYOK Conroe. The legend continues.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and it is our Winning Wednesday. And joining me today, host of Listen In with KNN, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, and host of Hard in the Paint. Y'all know what he's doing. He's dunking on everybody. It's none other than David Grubb. And David, you were going to share something with Kelsey before the top of the hour ID. What were you going to share?
I mean, she was giving out the honor roll with Doug Williams and RG3, but, Tony Banks.
There was many.
Campbell,
all right.
There's been some missteps.
Wait. Now we're not gonna call Campbell. We're not gonna call Campbell a misstep. He was not a misstep. He had bad management. Who was the quarterback when Jim Zorn was the coach? I mean, come on, y'all. Come on. I'm listening. I can't hear nobody. Hey, Kelsey. Kelsey, with everything going on, how do you feel about calling Washington their nickname? Any thoughts there? We're taking down monuments. We changing stuff up. So when we gonna get to that? When we gonna get to that elephant in the room?
Oh my gosh! So I just had Governor Jesse Ventura on my show, and he lit things up. I highly suggest people listen to that. Since I've been born, I don't mind saying my age. I'm 27. I'll be 28 next month. I was born in '92. All right, '92 was a special year for the Redskins because if you know your history, you know what they did in that season. But saying all this to say, This debate has been going on. This debate has been going on forever. I've had both sides of my show. I've had Native American leaders from one side saying, hey, we love this name, we embrace this name. I've grown up with this, I've learned to embrace it. We have the other side that's saying, hey, this is offensive. Enough is enough. We had Mayor Muriel Bowser, the mayor of DC, saying, I want the team to change the name. Some are saying, hey, if the Washington Redskins ever want to play in Washington, DC again, they're going to have to do that. And of course, here in the city, there's a push to have the Washington Redskins play in the city because of what it means, right? Because of what it means. So saying all that to say, honestly, it's a debate that keeps going on. I don't know if we'll ever get to a happy medium. You have one side, Dan Snyder, saying he's never going to change the name. On the other side, we've seen great proposals for name changes. We've seen great proposals for different logos to be used, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I would never want any team to use something that's offensive. I don't think anyone should. No one should. If somebody says something's offensive, if I say something's offensive, if you all say something's offensive, why not change it, right? Because who am I to tell you it's not offensive? But look, this is going to go on, I think, till the end of time. Probably we'll be talking about this when I'm fully gray. We'll probably be still talking about this issue, unfortunately.
Kelsey, we love having you on the show with your young self. I'm trying to tell you,
man.
I'm
Old
enough to be your daddy.
I mean, I guess technically I am too, but I'm not trying to be that dude. I mean,
y'all got good genes. I couldn't tell.
I was in high school, you know. So, 92, I was junior in high school, so I would try to have no babies then.
AJ's thinking. What are you thinking, AJ?
92, I was way out of college. Oh my
92
God.
was a good year. It was a good year.
Yeah. It looked for y'all. But anyway, we were talking about league ownership and the possibility of a conglomeration of players getting together and starting a league. This is, and I know we're in the second hour, but I want to get this last little part in. Could a league sustain itself if LeBron James is on one side, in another league, and Kyrie Irving and somebody who's a free thinker like Kevin Durant, and maybe even, watch this name, maybe even a Kawhi Leonard who thinks differently and moves a little differently than a lot of folks think. He's not gonna follow the beaten path. You've got Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi over in one league. You got LeBron and everybody else over in another league. Possible, or not enough TVs or eyes to go around?
Like I said, if you play in a different time of year, you're not competing directly with the NBA, which is what you want. The death of the USFL was trying to play at the same time as the NFL. You can't go up against somebody who owns that day. The NBA, depending on their schedule, if they do a Christmas to spring schedule, you don't want none of that. The best thing to do is go up against baseball in the summer. You know what I'm saying? That's so you protect yourself there. And the other reason that leagues fail is, and most of them, because the NFL leagues, you don't have quarterbacks. See, that's the thing, is that in football, you better have a quarterback. NBA is about the game itself and developing those stars. So if you get that 25 and under group, you get that next wave, those are the ones who are going to define the culture going forward. LeBron James is 2 years out basically from being the old man, not the center of the NBA universe. He's on his way to being the old head in the club. So when that happens, and the Devin Bookers of the world, the guys, the Karl Anthony Towns, all those guys start to Zion Williamson, when they become that next generation, the world is going to look at them completely different because they've been bringing their fan bases along since they were 13 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different paradigm. The fans don't care. Teams don't matter the way they used to do. Remember when we had a team and that was your team. Yeah. Now people are much more focused on players.
Yeah.
Where that player goes, now that's my team. So if the players left the NBA, it stops becoming an issue. The only thing that matters is, do you have enough money to get through the hard part in the beginning? If you can get through the hard part in the beginning, and that's the start for any startup, if you can get the TV contract, which is number one, that's paramount. You better get that TV money because that's constant money. That's the money you have as your baseline. You do that, you can survive. And otherwise, I think it's a completely different world as long as The players don't try to go straight up against the NBA. Your goal out here is not to beat the NBA. Your goal is to create the league that works for you.
Yeah. Again, you keep saying it, and I'm like, man, with Amazon,
somebody give me some money.
With Roku,
somebody give me some money. I'll hire people.
Hulu, I mean, dude, like there are so many other avenues that guess what? More people have this going with them than they do sitting in front of their regular TV set. So now you control a market that your traditional TV stations are trying to get. And oh yeah, by the way, they are a whole different crowd. They spend a little different. They're loyal a little differently than the traditional model. So
what's the experience going to be like? Remember, the ABA changed the whole experience of what the NBA, what a basketball game could be like. And the NBA has gotten so uniform in the way it presents its games. All its stadiums have to look essentially the same on the interior. The way the game is played all has to look the same on the inside. So you have the opportunity, too, to create a greater connection with fans. And like we're getting to watch as we watch sports from around the country in some of these cases, like Korean baseball, even without fans, you're seeing the energy is different. When you watch the Winter League World Series in the Caribbean or in Mexico, you see the interaction with fans is different. Because basketball is that close-up sport, you can create an environment that's not so staid and is not so, just regimented of timeout, cheerleaders, timeout. You know what I mean? You've gotten into this pattern of how we view basketball, and I think that there are ways to make the game much more in line with the way the culture is now, and much more in line with the pace that people want to see. And just create a new paradigm and make the cities give more ownership to the cities of those teams and start giving them, because I want to feel like if I'm in New York, I'm in the New York game. You know what I mean? If I'm in New Orleans, I want to feel like I'm in New Orleans. You can go to any NBA city and they all feel the same when you go into the gym.
I feel like those are all just important points, because I think especially the scheduling is so important. There's a reason why the WNBA season is when it is. There's a reason why the summer sports are when they are. You don't want that crossover, because I think, look, I was a team reporter for the Washington Valor for the Arena Football League, right before the Arena Football League folded. The reason why people like the Arena Football League is, one, because it was different, right? We're playing inside. Two, because it was played during the summertime. And then three, David touched on it, that fan interaction. Football games, unless you got big bucks or know somebody, it's hard to have that personal interaction unless you're traveling to these training camps. But the Arena Football League, after the game, if you've been to an AFL game, the players come onto the field. You can come onto the field and get autographs, interact with them, right in their face, shake their hand. And of course, this was pre-COVID. If it was still around, they would probably change that. But it's just, that's what people want. When I go to WNBA games, it's a different level of interaction that the fans get with these players. It's not just this off-the-wall thing, but the scheduling is the most important part. And like David said, then you can get those TV contracts. And not even just TV contracts now, digital. Digital is where we're going. It's the most powerful thing. You see all these new networks popping up because of the power of that. You talked about what Amazon did. You have the power to change the market now. You have the power to change the market. Again, bringing up LeVar Ball, he was able to do Ball in the Family in what? If you watch that show, it was on Facebook. It was on Facebook. They got good viewers on Facebook. It's a different game now. The name of the game is different. And now, again, it's the time. If you want to try something, it's the time to do it.
Now's the time to do it. All right, stay right there. I'm going to change the subject when we come back. We've got a local football coach / general manager that is like, I'm in love with everything black right now. Could it be for a reason why all of a sudden, we'll talk about that next right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Again, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. I see all of your comments right there. Most of these look pretty good. I'll see if I can read some of them when we get back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Hey, sports fans, this is AJ Jones, and I know we're all going through some trying times right now. Schools are closed, and things are far from normal. I was thinking, how can we help here on KYOK and on the lunch break? And I heard these words: help make memories. So how about this? How about your child, age 12 and up, has a chance to be my co-host for the day? That's right, 30 minutes every Tuesday right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Your child can invite their friends, their family, and even their classmates to hear them talk sports with me, AJ Jones, on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK, AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. Send me an email message at aj@kyoksports.com. That's aj@kyoksports.com with your child's name and why they should be the one to be my co-host for the day. Again, we're going to make memories during this tough times right here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 90.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering. It's called to inspire. Best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK. 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Come on, Shiloh Radio.
Be sure to tune in to Motivational Thursdays on Shiloh Radio, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m.
All right, y'all, we're coming
where
in
you
next.
will be encouraged, inspired, and ignited on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Houston, and you're listening to The Lunch Break on 92.3 and KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and of course, I've got some serious winners. I've got Kelsey Nicole Nelson listening with KNN, and David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, joining me on Winning Wednesday. Got a real good text message. I like this one. It's from someone in the 716 area code. Not sure where that is, but I like the message. It says, I agree with Kyrie Irving. If all the athletes would think this way, you could change the world. The minor football league has been around since 1993. If pro football players would see the reality of having a league which would lead to ownership, then they could change the world too. The CEO and founder of the league say, we are the laboratory of change. It's time for everybody to experience the vision. And the MFL plays in June and July. So there's some folks out there that have the concept, the ideas, and actually putting some work behind it. I know Garrett Jones, who comes on the show, is the commissioner and the founder of the state's Developmental Football League. And they have a financial component to it where they teach guys how to invest and how to be, owners and things like that. There's even a high school here that is a school that teaches kids how to not just be players, but to be general managers, to be owners, to be, executives in the front office. And I absolutely love it. And the founders came out of Texas A&M. So, again, Kyrie Irving is not crazy.
Not at all. Again, we need to start embracing these ideas. It's for far too long we've been told that we're not supposed to be in these positions. I'm sure all of us sitting right here on the show have been told that we're not supposed to be in these very positions. But what did we do? We broke through anyways, and we're still breaking through and fighting through. What Kyrie Irving is saying, you think about, if you look through history, you think before, we didn't have all the opportunities that we have now. You think about why the Negro Leagues was started. And then, of course, if you follow baseball history, why it got dismantled. We have an opportunity now. We have the power. When I say we have the power, I'm talking about minority athletes have to stand up. I always say you have to stand, you have to act, and sometimes you have to fight for change. Those are like the three principles I love to live by. Kyrie Irving, what he's saying, it's not just he woke up and hit his head. No, things started to come together. I think George Floyd the murder of George Floyd ignited a fire in a lot of people. I've heard more young people just passionate now about voting, about making sure they're, they can be involved in their community, finding ways to connect with adults. I don't know if you all saw that video of the young kid that a cop car was coming and he hid behind the car because he was so afraid. That's a problem. Yeah. That killed me. That killed me. That should kill everybody. And Kyrie, again, this is a grown man. Steven Jackson you know how it is, fellas. When you're talking to somebody, if you tell your friend, you can tell them that you were crying as a grown man. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. This hurt him. He sees now I have power and purpose. I need to expand it to others. That's what you're able to do. Ownership is the name of the game. Ownership is how you get ahead in America. Ownership is why we live in this capitalistic society that we live in. All right. Ownership changes your whole outcome on life, because if your parents are able to hand something down to you, where you start in life is already drastically different than others.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Imagine that if Bronny coming up now wasn't having to be concerned about being one of the top sophomores in the country, but was thinking about, I'm going to be general manager of my daddy's team when I'm, 29, 30 years old. When they start handing these things out to these young guns who come out. I mean, like you said, when we were coming up, I didn't even know what the avenue was to get a job like this. That was not something that was on the map for us. We had no clue. The only way I thought you could get on TV or on the radio as a black person was you had to be an athlete first. That's something you had to be a former athlete, because that's mostly the people I saw on television in the sports industry. And sports writers, that was in my area, that was non-existent. There were no black sports writers at our newspapers in New Orleans. We had, one or two the black people on air here locally. But it just, so now these guys have role models. They have CEOs. They are becoming CEOs. That's why Kevin Durant is out there buying parts of soccer teams and doing all these things. Yeah. They want to have their money in different pools. So why not invest it in yourself? But it's funny that every time you talk about these things, every time black people start talking about maybe we can do this for ourselves, then people say, well, now you're self-segregating. Now why are you trying to come out of here and take yourself away from this? You're choosing because you're anti this. Everybody else has been able to make those decisions for themselves. And again, not one of the three of us has said you want it to be an all black league. But if there's all black ownership, I wouldn't be mad. Or if it was majority black ownership, I wouldn't be mad. So why is every time we talk about these types of things that would empower people who have been left out of this explosion of professional sports over the last 50 years, as it has become this multi-trillion-dollar monster around the world, where are the black people truly benefiting from it that we see on a day-to-day basis? Where are the media companies that are putting out, or that are covering these games? Where are the black reporters? Where are the black general managers? Even like the heads of scouting, all those things that could be filled with people who are qualified, who just never got the opportunity. So what is wrong with creating a place to develop those qualified people, and not only develop them, but retain them? And not have their talent end up getting underpaid and undervalued in another system that doesn't really want you there. What would be wrong with that? Why is that a negative for us when other people have been doing this without any type of worries that when they step out of the system and do it their way?
That's the thing. When somebody else does it, it's not racist, it's just business. When we talk about doing it, it's some kind of way segregationist, it's racist, it's this, that, and the other. Rather than you letting me be in the boardroom, how about if I just own the boardroom?
Make my own.
I mean,
we always talk about entrepreneurism. We're always talking about
the door to the boardroom gonna look just the same. I just own it. That's the only thing. I own it. So
look, it's like buying a house. I think I've said this on the show before. If you don't find the house you like, why not go build it? Buy a piece of land where you want it and build it the way you want to go. And for far too often, because opportunity, David said it, opportunity is not always the same for us. That opportunity is not always extended for us. So sometimes you have to make that opportunity. Now we have people in positions of power to help that opportunity. Because also when we have a say, when we are owning these teams, you're giving back to the community in that way. Because you think about the Black community, a lot of times those businesses in our communities are not ours. And if they're not giving back. They're not giving back. There's a reason why sometimes when you go to a community, it looks the same as it did 30 years ago. Nothing is going into it. People are taking stuff out of it, but nothing's going into it. That's why you see athletes, they always like to do stuff for their hometowns to give back to the people and the places that made them. This ownership is not a small thing. If anything, that's how you really become rich in life. Ownership. If you want big money, ownership. David said it earlier. These owners have sports teams as a luxury. As a luxury because they have money. They have money. They have their family companies. And now, oh yeah, by the way, I own this too. That's nice to have. And that's, again, continued generational wealth. Generational wealth. This is what the name of the game needs to be.
Garrett Jones was on the other day, and he said the owner is never going to pay the player enough to live next door to him. And that was just so profound. So what's wrong with the players getting enough on their own to live wherever they want to live? How about that? I hate to do it. I got one more break, and then we're going to finally get to what I teased the last time. But I want to go ahead and address the elephant in the room when we come back, because, you know, these folks might say they love black people now, and they support Black Lives Matter, and they support Juneteenth and all that. But you still have a hard time getting media credentials to be in those buildings. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's the lunch break.
Pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851. 800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to the lunch break.
All right, y'all. It is the lunch break. And this Winning Wednesday is El Fuego. This thing hot right here. This thing hot right here. You got to handle this with 2 hands and some mitts. David Grubb, how was your show today, bro? How'd you light him up today?
We had I gotta do this. We had Antonio Daniels, who covers the Pelicans, and also former NBA player. And we spoke in great detail about why the players' positions were valid, and discussed them from both sides. He's a guy who's been through 2 lockouts and all those things, so some great perspective from him. Then Ross Jackson, who does an outstanding job of Canal Street Chronicles covering the Saints, and we closed with Preston Ellis. He lives in Orlando, covers the NBA covers the Pelicans and the Magic. And he got into some great detail about that NBA bubble. He also works for Disney, so he gave us some great insights about the hotels themselves, about how the layout works, and how Disney employees are already responding to the interest of having them work in a bubble for 3 months, and they ain't necessarily happy.
They ain't feeling it. They ain't feeling that. Like, yeah,
$15 an hour. They ain't trying to hear that.
I'm locked in here. Yeah, okay.
And they got their own union, so they look. Disney workers ain't trying to be stuck anywhere for 3 months straight.
I got you. That's hard. That's hard in the paint. Monday through Friday from 10 to 12. You can find
Howard Bryant coming on tomorrow.
Radio.
Howard Bryant tomorrow. Got Howard Bryant. from ESPN.
Nice.
One of my all-time favorite writers. Just
who does your booking for you, man? I'm just trying to figure out.
I'm like, Kelsey, you out there grinding. You make phone calls and you try to get people.
Bro.
You just hope they say yeah, or you bother them enough till they ain't got no choice.
Send me your phone list, please.
I told Kelsey, she got the better Rolodex than me. She has the better Rolodex. She's got, look, I'm in New Orleans. There ain't nobody here, you know? So I got to go call people in LA, New York. You know what I mean? That's how everybody is. They ain't here.
That's where I was going next. I ain't even got no Rolodex. I just bother people on social media. Don't have your DMs open because I'm
getting for agents, anybody. I'm coming for you.
Oh, man.
Hey. Kelsey, when is your show on again? Tell everybody when they can find Listen In with KNN.
Sure. So tomorrow, I am so excited to welcome Art Still, a former NFL player, University of Kentucky, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I always have to remember to say that on your show with the different time zones. And then Friday, I have Anthony Morrow, former NBA player, also in Big Three. Yep. He's coming on. We're going to talk a lot about this NBA situation. That's Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I'm super excited, Saturday at 2 p.m. Ben Wallace is joining me. It's going to be an action-packed show. So you guys got to tune in. Listen in with KNN.
I love when both of y'all win like that. I mean that. I love when both of y'all win like that. So that's who we got on the show today.
Each other left and right too. Like if you go to our social media, anytime I see Kelsey stuff, gone. Anytime I see Renee, send it back out.
Yes.
You know, yes, it's a family thing. We got to support. We have to support each other.
And we got to be.
That's right. Carolina Blitz, Sheena Quick, all of them, man. When you see, we repost them, and we mean it when we say follow them, check them out. You're going to be blessed. As I said before the break, Bill O'Brien, Houston Texans general manager and really running everything, head coach, you name it, has been this I don't even know what to call it, this benevolent partner, ally of the plight of the black people. He's all for Black Lives Matter, and he's quoting 400 years of persecution and all that. He's also saying, I'm going to kneel, and they got a right to kneel, and it ain't about the flag no more. And he gonna let us celebrate Juneteenth. Thank you. Appreciate it. Here's my question. What happened to that class action racial discrimination lawsuit that they had going on with the Texans organization that we ain't heard nothing else about while you so busy loving on all the black people? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not trying to be precocious. I'm just asking. Could it be that Bill is trying to say, look at all the good stuff we done for the Negro folk? What? Help me out. I'm wrong, ain't I? Am I wrong? David, you dropped your head the most. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't trust anybody at this stage, and I don't think anybody should. I think that's been the response from players throughout the league and black people throughout the country is you can't trust the words. There are no easy victories in all of this. You know what I'm saying? That we've been through this enough times to know that there will be people in the moment of convenience who will say that they will stand with you. And right now it's a moment of convenience because the pressure is on from the public. So people will say, yes, everything's good. Yes, I agree with what you say. Your position is sound. And as soon as it quiets down, where will the action be? What will Bill O'Brien do when it does get to be? When his players do get back and start really criticizing not just the things about the politics, but like you see on college campuses right now where these players are challenging the worldviews of their coaches and those coaching staffs. If you think college kids are going to come at you hard, wait till some grown men come in with their and know that they have contracts, not scholarships on the line. Right. And they come in and start challenging that culture and saying, I will not be talked to this way anymore, or I will not have this coach around here anymore because these things affect me in a negative manner. So I think it's fine today when nobody's around. Ain't no players in the building, nobody to answer to. Let's see how this stuff plays out over the weeks of a season and over the years, however much longer he's in charge of this organization. If nothing substantive changes, then everything that was said this summer, and I've said this before, we're going to hold everybody accountable, black, white, whomever. If you were bold enough to come out and say something, we're going to remember your words and we're going to judge you by your actions. So I'm taking everything with enough salt to put on a yellow slicker and be the Morton's girl.
You did not. You did not.
Not the Morton's girl.
Come on in here and help your brother out, please.
Oh man. How do I follow that one up? Look, I think it just goes back to judge a character, right? I mean, we all know what people will do when the spotlight is on them, but I don't want to just know what you do when the spotlight is on you. What do you do when the lights are out? Right? What are you doing when this issue is not front of the news on every single channel? That's when I'm going to judge you and know who you are. Same thing. That's how I pick my friends groups. All right. I want to know how you really are as a person. Are you not only here with me when you see me winning and doing all these good things? Are you with me when I'm crying? Are you with me when I've just been emotionally just needed a shoulder to lean on? I think what you see Bill O'Brien do, I mean, it's not the wrong thing. I think some people are waking up. Now, why you didn't wake up before is a real question. We've been saying this for a long time, but okay. I'll give you a pass. You're waking up now. But I want to see this continue. And don't say just because it's politically right. We live in this culture now, too, where everyone tries to follow these trends.
Right.
You have players hurting. You have players hurting, saying to you, this is a problem. I think one good thing that we saw in this area, and I applaud Steve Biscotti for doing it, Baltimore Ravens owner. If you all have seen that video with the Ravens players and the Ravens owner, I honestly thought that was authentic and real. Now, the Ravens are an organization, you can go back to the Ray Rice incident, who literally got plastered for how they handled that, them and the NFL, right? And so they're trying to overcome that whole situation. And I think now, they've gotten to a point where people are like, okay, Ravens are, back in good graces. But this is a point in history where you have to get it right. Lives are on the line. Your players are hurting. Your fans are hurting. Your bottom line is going to hurt. You cannot get this wrong. So I think together we're learning, that Roger Goodell video. All right, we saw him. Tears to me don't mean anything. And this is not just for anybody, but all right, tears are, I can shed a tear. Is that authentic? Is it real? I need to see action. Action is what we're asking for, because we've been here. We've talked about this issue. Again, we've talked about this issue for all of our lifetimes and before. Not enough change has come. We're starting to see change come. We don't want it to slow up because, again, we're trying to make this better for the future athletes, for the future Black owners, for the future Black general managers. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I think people, again, when you go back to ownership or just having people of positions in power, do not overlook what Ozzie Newsome did when he used that last pick to pick Lamar Jackson. Because the Lamar Jackson we see is a great benefit of what happened right then and there. Lamar Jackson's motto is nobody cares. Work harder. Think about why he says that.
Yep. I love that. And to that point, it's almost like some of these companies, some of these teams act like Black people were just invented a couple of days ago. Like, where were all these statements last year and the year before last and the year before that? I mean, I get it. And I do. I look at my phone when I get a message from Zoe's. I get a message from, Salada. I get a message from Randall's and Kroger's. Okay, all right, that's nice. And I also look at the date. You just found the log in and sign into your email account. You just found it today. And I make my spending decisions based on that. I appreciate that Bill O'Brien's going to take a knee. I appreciate that he, thinks that the players should have a right to take a knee. I appreciate that he now realized Juneteenth is a thing. But like I said, out of that entire media facility, there's still only a handful of Black people that are in there to cover the game. More Black people are getting messages that your credential request is not approved. More Black people are being told that, no, you cannot get season credentials, but we'll handle you on a game-by-game basis. And there still is a class action lawsuit by employees that did not fire themselves, that don't look like everybody else in the building, that for whatever reason, somebody walked up to them and said, it's not a good look for y'all all to be congregating in the cafeteria area. And if you're not going to address those issues, then you allowing us to celebrate Juneteenth, and you allowing us to take a knee, and you allowing us to relive our history through your words, you might as well just be who you were last year and the year before that and the year before that.
I mean,
it's like when
someone, Texas,
go ahead.
I'll just say Juneteenth, like Texas celebrates Juneteenth harder than anybody. So I don't know how you don't know about Juneteenth when you're in Texas. Like it became something in Louisiana as I got older that I knew about, but I always knew that they were doing it in Texas. That was just part of my, because we spent so many of my summers when I was a kid in Texas that I just knew about it. So it's always funny that all of a sudden this community that you're always saying I'm invested in, you know so little about. And then you look at these things from the broader perspective of, like you said, from the media access point, especially for us who are on that side of being independent. Teams don't want to give you the same level of access. They don't want to give you the same, level of opportunity to talk to players outside of the team-controlled environment. Getting them on a radio show is almost impossible here, because especially since the owner owns both franchises. So going through our media system here is just impossible to get guests on. Again, like you said, the majority of them of whom are African American, and I think would enjoy having the opportunity to speak with another African American about the sports that they play in those cities. So I think teams are cutting their nose off to spite their face by not including Black men, Black women, other people of color in their media representation, because you don't even see them on the media side when you walk in.
Right.
It's usually 3 white men in every arena that I've ever been in. Maybe sometimes a woman in there, a white woman in a group, but it's never 3 Black men or 2 Black men in there helping you come into the locker room and meet with guys and talk to players after games. And so that part, all the liaison parts of it, it's so much easier to dismiss, because they look at us and they'll say, unless you got certain letters behind your name, you're not real. Right. You're not a real person, and you don't have the same audience. When in a lot of these cases, we have bigger audiences on a day-to-day basis than those other mainstream folks, because people don't trust them because they're not from that community. They don't understand. They're not talking to the players in the same manner. So I think that, teams are losing a great opportunity to interact with a whole set of fans who don't watch NBA TV or who don't watch the NFL Network, who want the players to just be themselves and talk to them. And right now, that's why the players are going to social media, I think, more and more, because there's no one to speak with them and help them and know, and for them to not feel like there's going to be some type of ambush or agenda when that interview takes place.
Yep. No, I shouldn't have to go to social media to get access to a player when there's a media relations department for that team, and I've called you, and either I don't get a call back, or the answer is, oh, they're not available right now. Well, can I get anybody? We'll follow back up with you, and now we're back to the don't call back. So and then you talk to the person, and it's like, oh, I didn't even know you were trying to reach me. What's up? What you want to do? What you want to do.
Yeah.
Again, if you're not going to fix it all, then baby, please do me a favor. Save me on the giving me the right to do stuff I was doing long before you figured out I was Black. So, Kelsey, I'm sorry. We've cut you off.
No, this is good. Y'all set me up, so I got to take it home now. I think everything that you all are saying is factual and right. It goes beyond the kneeling. It's the actions that come from the kneeling because of the attention that the kneeling is bringing forward. And what you all are saying is true. I mean, I haven't been in any locker room or any game where I'm not reminded I'm a Black woman covering that game. Before COVID, the last thing I had covered was the CAA tournament that was here at the Sports and Entertainment Complex. And best believe I stood out. And I go back to my experience at Super Bowl. It's my second Super Bowl now that I've covered. And again, I kind of stand out in Radio Row. There's not many Black women in sports talk radio. But saying all that to say, players have power. Because when people were looking over me, and I'm talking about PR people, players noticed that, look, this is a sister. And let me tell you, they'll keep it real. Look, I'm going to come back. I'm going to make sure I come back. And again, this is why I think that the players have voices that sometimes they don't even know they have. Because when a player gets on their PR team enough, people ask me all the time how I do my bookings. Yes, I have good relationships with PR teams. Yes, I have great people that work with me. But also it's great relationships from players, making sure that they look out because they know what it's like. Because we come from a similar background. They know they don't always see people that look like me, right? In the locker rooms. It's important. And then also making sure that you support your fellow minority member. I mean, you have to make sure that there are doors open. If you see something going on wrong too, and you are in a position of power and you have a backing, say something. Staying silent helps no one. And I think everything David's saying is right. It's unfortunate that so many times we're overlooked because of whatever. We have a story to tell. We have a different perspective to tell that story. And a lot of times, sometimes the players will just keep it more real because they just feel comfortable. I have a different conversation with you all than I have with some other colleagues, again, because I know you guys kind of have a shared experience with me that I can share with you. The Morton Salt example might not resonate with everyone. It resonates with us, all right? We kept a lot of that in our cooking and everything else. All right. So I just say all that to say, I think you're right. And it's unfortunate. But I think that's why now we all have to band together to make a change. And the media perspective is so important. It's so important because that's how people are getting their news and their news media. And this is how we're able to tell those stories. It's how we're able to tell the stories. I talked with Warren Moon. He was able to relate with me because he grew up with all women in his household. All women in his household. So look at me. I probably look like a lot of the women that grew up in his household. We're able to have a different conversation. So it's important to make sure that you're making sure that journalists of color have a seat at the table and are able to stay at that table. I don't want just that one time, okay, well, we're gonna let her have this interview this one time. No, it's more than that. It needs to be a pipeline. I want to have the same access as everyone else. I want to be invited to all the media calls that you are doing, all the publications that come out, all of the team. I want to be on those media lists. I want to be on those email lists. I want to be able to break news. I want all of that. And that's, again, what we're going back to. It goes back to the opportunity. I'm going to stop because I'm going to start preaching.
That's okay. Southern Baptist
family. Southern Baptist family.
Wait. Y'all stay right there. Let me hit this commercial. I'm coming right back. We'll get more of this. This is good stuff, y'all. We will be right back right after this.
And now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
Hey, this is Tori and Terry, and we're with a new show on the legendary KYOK called Marriage Talk with Tori and Terry.
Yes, that's Saturdays at 1 p.m. Marriage Talk with us. You can call in and talk with us about your marriage questions, engagement, relationship questions. We're here to assist you. Saturdays at 1 p.m.
And that's on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Talk to you then.
Again I say unto you, if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18, 19, and 20.
That's the gospel.
And we're KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
Last one, guys.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK. 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey, what's up? This is your boy James Fortune, and you are listening to The Lunch Break. Keep it locked.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and I've got two of my absolute favorites, and I mean that. I am fans of theirs. I'm talking about Kelsey Nicole Nelson, host of Listen In with KNN, and David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint. Got to read a text message. Decided I was going to read this one. It's from a young lady who identified herself. Her name is Penny. And Penny says, it sounds like a whole lot of victimization. When do you stop saying, gimme, 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 and come to the table with something that will make another decision maker say, yes, I want you to be a part of what I'm doing on the level that I'm doing it. You can only be given so much for so long. When do you take responsibility of being a valuable resource in our community? Who want that one first?
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to start.
Hold on, let me say thank you to Penny first. Penny, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Penny.
Thank you for taking the time to not only send a statement in and your name. I appreciate that. That says a lot. And I do want you to know that we're going to respond to your question or your statements. And I just hope that you are open-minded to the response. But thank you for responding. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Whew, all right. So again, Southerners coming in, Southern hospitality. All right. So I will start with this. I've been giving nothing in my life. All right. There was no sports reporters in my family before me. I do not come from money. I've had to always work my way up. I still am. I could say I put the work in. I have a broadcast journalism degree, all right, from University of Maryland, top 10 journalism school. And that's not to boast, but I wanted to go there so I could learn from the best, so I could be the best. Then I went to Georgetown, got a degree. Oh, so I have 2 degrees to make sure, and sports industry management. So now you're pairing broadcast journalism and sports industry management. My opportunities, even though I have the training, I've worked with many different companies. I have bylines, I've written, I've done radio, I've covered games. It's still a lot harder for me because of systems that are in place. And sometimes because I get overlooked because, hey, now my parents gave me some lovely melanin in my skin. It's not victimization. It's knowing we have to work harder. I've always been taught that because no doors of opportunity were going to be open for me. Victimization is when you have privilege and not realizing you have privilege and somehow realizing that you're not benefiting off of that privilege. I'm pretty sure you all are like me. I wasn't born with privilege. I'm trying to create generational wealth that's not in my family. Nobody's fault, but I deferred the path. My parents are government workers. That's what they wanted me to do at first. Not a bad thing. They wanted me to be secure. I chose a career path that's not as stable, not as secure, but I wanted that challenge. And I knew how important it is. It's a reason why I don't care how much I'm working, I always make time to give back to others that look like me, especially. And again, I talk to everybody, but especially those that I know their career path is going to be different. That I know they're going to face some things that are not right. And nothing they did wrong. I've never been in trouble with the law. Never. Never even got a speeding ticket, but I also don't have my license. But never, nothing, like literally nothing. We'll be kind of weird if I had a speeding ticket, but that part.
She ain't say she ain't drive though. She ain't say she ain't drove though without a license.
Look, Uber and Lyft driver to the fullest, and then look, BMW we call it in the DMV area, bus, metro, or walk to get somewhere. All right. So again, I say all of this to say it's not victimization, but it's knowing when something is wrong.
Yeah.
This system in this country. You can look through it. There's a reason why Black people have had to fight for civil rights and so many other things. There's a reason why you just saw that Black trans queer march and people trying to bring attention to it.
Right.
Stuff is not right. We're not treated the same. So again, it's not victimization when you're pointing out flaws in a system that was not made for you. And again, I try to say this in the nicest way, and I'm passionate about that because I think sometimes people assume that where you are is because it was given to you. If that were the case, I would like to think I would be a lot further. I didn't have a famous daddy, a famous mommy. I didn't have any of that. So literally started from square one, square zero, and I've tried to work my way up and build my brand. I have my full bio on my website for that reason. It's hurtful for people to say that, but again, I think this is why we have these conversations though, because maybe Penny just really didn't know.
Right.
Maybe she didn't know.
Yep.
So again, this is why we have to have these conversations, but you have to choose your words very carefully. Very carefully because you can offend somebody. Now I'm going to hand it off to David. I can't wait to hear what David says on this one.
Yeah, David, I'm going to give it to you. But let me say this. Without this conversation, I've never heard from Penny before, at least to my knowledge.
Look at David's face.
So what we've said today stimulated enough emotion in Penny for her to pick up her phone and to text. So I think we've done our job here today. Go ahead, David. It's your time. Tap in, David. Tap in.
Tap in. Tag team.
Okay. So Penny, let me give you my 2 cents. Anybody asking for nothing? I'm gonna just put it plain and simple. Anybody asking for nothing? I don't want somebody to give me anything other than the respect and the humanity that I'm due as a citizen of the world and of the country that I live in. And that's all Black people have been asking for since we got here, is respect and the dignity that we deserve as human beings. I don't want anybody to give me anything, but the notion that America is a meritocracy is a joke, because we know this is the country that invented. Is not what you know, is who you know. So it doesn't matter how much talent some people have. It's about their access. And the problem is far too often people of color, women are not given the same access to those opportunities as other people. That's just a fact. Whether it's, you look at any numbers, whether it's health, whether it's wealth, whether it's education. Too many of these things are determined by factors of which we have no control over. That's simply either the color of our skin, the zip code in which we are born, all of those things which have a direct impact on why there has not been equality. The active destruction of Black wealth by government and non-government agencies that was overlooked by that same structure is why we don't have the same level of wealth. I want to be able to compete on a level playing field because I know I can kick the ass of most people on that field. I may not beat everybody, but if you give me a chance in what I do, I will kick the ass of most people in that field. So I don't want somebody to hand it to me because I'm fully confident that I'll get it if I get the shot. Put me in the room and give me a legit shot. That's all I've ever wanted. I don't want anything else from anybody. Because like Kelsey said, I gave up almost 6 figures in annual salary so I could go back to the bottom and grind and cover sports for free until somebody started paying me for it with a family. So for somebody to say that I'm asking somebody to give me something when my blood, sweat, and tears are in this point that I've gotten to now, which is still far away from where I want to be, it's not that. We are demanding what we have been owed, but we ain't asking nobody for nothing.
Yeah. And to just put that on a global level, that's the same thing with the players. They're tired of asking to be treated like they are partners in the business. And when somebody doesn't feel like a valued partner, guess what? They go and find other partnerships. All I'm saying is, what is wrong with those players looking at ownership as opposed to just trying to always be the help? And I've been working in radio since 1982. Kelsey, that's why I was looking around when you were talking about 1992. I had babies and bills back then, but I've been working in radio since 1982. My first job in radio was WYLD, New Orleans, FM 98, the music FM. And I worked my way up. I ran around there for months, getting food and birthday cards for guys that forgot them for their girlfriends and their wives, until one day, somebody said, I need somebody to plug in. And guess what I've been doing when I wasn't doing that? Studying, learning for free. Wasn't asking for anything, was glad to do it. So in 2020, yes, ma'am, nobody gave me anything but a chance. And I made the most out of that chance. Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and so on. They're asking for a fair, equal chance. And that doesn't always mean at a player level. What is wrong with them wanting to be owners, just like guys who never played the game? Why is it different for one and not for the other? So, Penny, I appreciate the text message. Thank you for your listenership. I hope you continue to listen because clearly, again, something spurred your thought to make you send that message. So, Kelsey, you go first. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and get all the good stuff you do on Listen In with KN.
Sure. So on social media, follow The Real K Nelson. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Snapchat, too. I need to get back on Snapchat. The Real K Nelson, Kelsey Nicole Nelson on Facebook. Need to get on TikTok, too. My website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com, has all the latest and greatest. Check out Listen In with KNN. It's every Thursday and Saturday. This week, I'm bringing 3 shows because the people asked for 3 shows. So I'm giving them 3 shows. Weeknights, Thursday and Friday, 6 p.m. Saturdays, 2 p.m. Again, this is Eastern Standard Time. It's also available on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. Definitely check it out. A lot of real conversations. I have to shout out Jamie Winborn on my last show. He was an amazing guest, a cancer survivor, former NFL player, and he just got real about some of his struggles he's had with the police, and we just talked real issues. And anytime somebody comes on my show and shares their story, it's truly, truly appreciated. So thanks for everyone for listening, and check out the show. You won't be disappointed.
I know that's right. David, tell them where you go hard to the paint, brother. In the paint.
10 a.m. to noon every weekday on WODT Sports 1280 in New Orleans. Also on the iHeartRadio app. You can subscribe to the podcast there as well. I too am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Usually it's under DM Grubb, but you can also find me at HITP with DG. And podcast for the Bird Calls coming up. And like I said, tomorrow with Howard Bryant, and I'm still working on, hopefully I get LeVar next week, but I'm not sure yet. His people got to get back to me. So we're trying to keep it as loaded as we can. And I'm sure Kelsey will be back on my show real soon too, because there's always, as we get closer to this NBA bubble, I think there's just going to continue to be more and more coming up. Mm-hmm. And I think with people, I will say this: my guests and my show, the thing that people who listen enjoy most about it is the fact that the variety of guests of mine are unlike anybody else in the city. Yeah. I try to give as many people of color, as many women, as many people who are below that radar an opportunity to come talk, because look, that's what I said. One chance. You come on my show one time, who knows who might be listening. Yep. And again, it's that first time with Kelsey is now why we have a relationship and can work and are talking about other things beyond this. So, I mean, and you help plug me into that too. So I just love the fact that we are being so cooperative with each other in this moment. And I just, the audience, every week that we come on, it makes me feel welcome. They make me feel empowered. They make me feel stronger to go back out the next day and face the comments that we get sometimes. But it's all love here, and I appreciate that more than y'all can know.
Yeah, now we appreciate you too. Kelsey, before midnight, Tuesday of next week, can you come back next week?
I'm right. I'm putting you on the schedule.
Next Wednesday, same time, same place.
I'm putting you on the schedule.
There'll be something else to dig in deep to, okay?
You're going to have to send us like some delivery card or something. See, I always have to eat lunch after you. So my stomach is always growling.
Problem. No problem. I'm
don't give me no Texas
tickets,
card. Though. I don't need no Texas tickets.
We're going to let you celebrate Juneteenth. Y'all take care, man. We appreciate y'all. Kelsey, Nelson, David Grubb, thank y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right, y'all. This is, we got to get out of the way. Sybil Wilkes is going to give her update next, and I appreciate you all. Again, y'all, it's been another fire show. Let me get Sybil in. I'll just go ahead and do my stuff now. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Y'all stay safe. Pay attention to your surroundings out there. A lot going on. And folks are doing stuff and calling it suicide. I just don't want anything to happen to you. All right, Donnie McClurkin up next, right after Sybil Wilkes on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I hope this helped some people, if nothing else, stimulate that you're not crazy if you want to do something different than what everybody else thinks you should be doing. And if other people can own stuff, why can't you? Don't let people determine your dreams and your visions and your level of elevation. I mean that with everything that's within me. And then on a serious note, man, be safe out there. There are a lot of people that don't want these changes that are happening to happen. And stuff is happening, and it's being called suicidal, and that there's no sign of foul play and stuff like that. Just because that's what it looks like doesn't mean that that's what it is. I'm gonna start encouraging people, exercise your Second Amendment rights. Guess what? You can be a part of concealed handgun class. You can, do open carry. You can do concealed carry. You can do all the above that the law allows you to do. And I think when more of us start doing that, then some of the stuff that's going on might stop going on. So y'all be safe. Y'all be aware, and y'all be good until we come back together again, okay? Y'all take care. Love you much.